Thanks to those joining me live and to those that be joining me on archive. I want to close out this week. As I mentioned, those are just test videos. Those are just test videos. So I'm going to go over a couple of things here. But first, I want to remind everyone that this is the final day of Marco Antonio Barrera Appreciation Week. That's right. We are only doing this. We're now doing this Sundays through Saturdays instead of Saturday through Friday. It's just the way we're going to do this now. All right. What up, Maine Boxing Biker in the house? Make sure you guys throw a jab at the like button. And every week I do this video, so I hadn't had a chance to do this for Barrera, so I'm going to do this. And as early as tomorrow, I'll do the McDonald one. I'm going to be doing a playlist for it and everything, but, there's people that are going to catch on to Appreciation Week later down the line. You know what I mean? So, first of all, I want to thank everyone who voted in the polls. All right? I want to thank everybody that participated, everyone who listened to the weekly stream, not only on the current events of boxing, but also talking about Marco Antonio Barrera's career in the last 20 minutes or so. It was great. Okay. We had one on his 90s career. We did it on the trilogy with Morales. We kind of emphasized on that. Did another one emphasizing on the big Prince Nassim Hamed win in his 2000s run, which was unbelievable, right? Love him, hate him, whatever the case is, it was unbelievable that this guy had a hell of a run. All right, John in the house, yo. El Fall player says, what's going on? Main Boxing says, I was just listening to your son in vid. He was a master at nothing. He was all right at wrestling. Look, Marco Antonio Barrera, I mean, he had 2 careers, man. He had 2 careers. He had 2 runs. You could argue 3 runs. You could argue he had 3 runs. And I want to kind of dive into those really quick. Let's dive into that run really quick. I mean, 1 second here. Damn cord. There. Sorry about that, guys. Like when the cord is like twisting, it's annoying, right? That's a problem when you go on live. Shit like this happens. Marco Antonio Barrera, man. Check this out. By the way, I'm going to stick to the subject, guys, so please do not change the subject in the chat, right? If I look here, first of all, turned pro in 98, man. 89, I'm sorry. What the hell am I talking about? 89. Let's talk about his first run. He beats Daniel Jimenez for the WBO championship in 1995. Becomes a champion. Jimenez, I believe, had 5 title defenses at the time and was from Puerto Rico. So that's a hell of a fighter to start off with and take his first title from. Then he faced Frankie Toledo, right? Diaz, Agapito Sanchez, Eddie Croft, Kennedy McKinney, Jesse Benavides, Orlando Fernandez, Jesse Magana. Then he faced Junior Jones twice. It was basically stopped in the first Junior Jones fight, but it was called a DQ because his corner came in to throw the towel. And in the rematch, it was a much better fight. A really good fight, by the way, but Junior Jones came away with it. All right? That was his first run. That first run alone, you can argue Hall of Fame. Just that run alone, right? Then he comes back, right? And he has a little short run. Okay? He faces some soft touches, right? Some soft touches. Then he faced Pastor Humberto Marin. And before that, Paul Lloyd. There was a Richie Wenton as well. And then he ran into Morales. Morales was 35-0 at the time. He was hot. And we saw probably the best fight we could imagine. The most violent fight I've ever seen. It was violent. He loses that fight, but people come out saying, man, I think he won. They come out saying. Like, I wouldn't say they were saying robbery, but they were saying, man, he was up there with Morales. Like, they were like, they hit the same level. So you could call that a short run, but I call it part of the second run. Because after that, dude, right after that, still at super bantamweight, he faces for the WBO. I don't know how. I think the WBO might have stripped Morales, but he faced a guy called Luis Claudio Freitas, Jose Luis Valbuena after that, then Jesus Salud, Hawaiian Punch. That was a solid win. And that led him to the Prince Nassim Hamed fight. 2001. He beat the shit out of Hamed. Hamed was 35-0. Something about being 35-0, right? It was not a good plan when you're going to face, all right, Barrera. Nassim Hamed was a big puncher in those weight classes. Let me tell you something. Nassim Hamed got his ass beat in that fight. Big legacy fight. He needed that. That win solidified it. If anyone had any like doubts, any like Hall of Fame, maybe that was it. That was boom. For sure, Hall of Fame. Anything after this, extra. Anything he did after this was just extra. That's it. Huge win. I mean, he ran Hamed out of there. He wanted to fight him again. They made good money with it. Hamed, let's do it again, Hamed. I saw an interview where it's like, man, after I lost to Junior Jones, I lost bad. I wanted to get back in there, man. I thought Hamed was going to, train hard and come back at me. He practically begged Hamed, let's do it again. He practically begged Prince Nassim Hamed. He wanted to do it again. Best performance of his career. I had a poll up. Majority agree. Well, I can't see the chat right now, guys, so just bear with me. After this, he fought Enrique Sanchez, solid, not top tier, but right after the Prince Nassim Hamed fight. I mean, we're talking just 5 months later, okay? And then it takes a little bit of a little bit of a break because then they set up that Morales rematch. So he needed that full rest, that full camp. Morales was 41-0 now. He got him 5 more victories. Right? He was 41-0. Morales was still undefeated. One thing that never gets talked about, he snatched Prince Nassim Hamed's O, and he snatched Morales' O. You don't get to snatch that many O's in a career, bro. All right? Not against undefeated guys. I mean, maybe, I'm not talking, those don't count. He faced it early in his career, he do 2-0. Like, I'm talking established champions. Hell of a fight. June 22nd, by the way. Not that long ago. Hell of a fight. Well, 2002, but in my opinion, Morales won that fight, but boy, did Barrera prove he belonged, man. It's arguable. You could argue he won, but I feel Morales won. If I'm objective, I can say that, right? If I'm a fanboy, I say Morales beat his ass, but fine, right? 41-0. He beats him for the WBC title. All right? He beat him. This was at featherweight. We're no longer talking super bantamweight. I forgot to mention. He did move up. Right? Another thing that doesn't get talked about. He moved up in weight class to face Nassim Hamed. A lot of guys move from the 122 to 126 and they get knocked out. Right? All of a sudden they face bigger dudes and they fail. They fail the test. And that's when questioning happened. Oh, was this guy ever really good? Was he really ever good? Or was he just knocking out a bunch of little dudes that he was bigger than? Well, when I argue he was just the right size for all his weight classes, it was the right time to move up. And that's another thing that gets lost. He moved up. He moved up in weight and dominated the champion at that weight class. When you're an all-time great, that's what you do. That's how you prove that you are great. That's how you shut up the critics that say, oh, no, but he's only facing dudes smaller. If he moved up, now, boom, beat his ass. What do you got to say now? Nothing. You got nothing to say. Morales had moved up as well, right? They moved up as well. He beat Hamed for the IBC. What the IBO? The hell? That's crap. But it was a vacant title, right? So I think something's going on there, but anyway, doesn't matter. Eddie Morales was for the WBC World Featherweight title. Big win for Barrera, man. Big win. Huge. I cannot tell you. I'm kind of surprised that, well, I put the third fight, but man, this was a big win. This one solidified. With hindsight 2020 tells you Morales was a much better opponent than Nassim Hamed, right? Perception at the time, I don't know, right? It's kind of hard. I was a kid, and I wasn't, not a kid, I was a teenager, but still. To me, from my perspective, the Eddie Morales win was a bigger deal. Then he goes on and he faced Johnny Tapia, right? It's understated how big this win was for him, right? Understated. Way understated. Tapia was in a little bit of a role himself. Shout out to Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's from the Southwest, right? It was a big fight here. I'm from the Southwest. This is a big win. Or big wins for Tapia. But anyway, he got that win. And then he faced Kevin Kelly, an older Kevin Kelly, but stopped him in the fourth round, right? And then he ran into Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao put a beating about it. There's no other way to put it. Barrera was favored in that fight. This was just supposed to be another fight, right? Barrera didn't look good in that fight, but I think it had mostly to do with he was caught off guard, man. And I don't know if he underestimated Pacquiao. I don't know what it was, but Pacquiao beat his ass. There's no other way to put it. Brother comes in, kind of like in the Junior Jones fight. They stopped the fight. This time, they didn't call it a DQ, but they just called it a TKO. After this, he bounces back by facing Paulie Ayala. After getting his ass beat, he jumps in there with Paulie Ayala, dude. All right? Paulie Ayala had been wanting that fight. So Paulie Ayala had been preparing for Marco Antonio Barrera. And now he's coming off a loss. Now, Paulie Ayala had lost to Morales, so he was trying to get some back. Right? He was a little inactive, but it's all right. Texas stand up. Fort Worth, Texas, stand up. It was a Mexican national versus a Mexican-American fight. He stopped him. Barrera stopped him in the 10th round. Only stoppage of Ayala's career. He could claim that. And then there was a rematch with Morales. Morales was 47-1 that he was trying to avenge that one loss. Now, he had already beat him in the first fight, but he's like, I'm going to avenge that. I'm going to win the trilogy. Both guys went into this fight, man. Barrera came out and he said, I can accept defeat against anyone, just not Eric Morales. Yo pierdo con cualquiera, nomás no Eric Morales. This dude said he would lose he could accept defeat against any other man on the planet, just not this one dude. That's how bad he wanted to win this fight. So bad he wanted to win this fight. Eddie Morales, it was mutual. Believe me, the feeling was mutual. And the one loss that was hovering over the head of Morales was this loss. They go in that ring and they give us another classic, man. Great fight. That third fight's a great fight. And to me, my opinion, right? This win, right, was just as big as the Prince Nassim Hamed win, if not bigger. If not bigger. Prince Nassim Hamed win just boom, it was that stamp of approval that he needed. This fight, right? This fight was not about, you see, like when he fought Prince Nassim Hamed, like after the fight, oh, come on, let's do it again. And, let's make money. And this was not about money. This was not about money. This wasn't about the gate. Okay, it wasn't about any of that. This fight was just personal. It was personal. There was bad blood. And if boxing didn't exist, they would have just fought. Like it just happens that they could do it with gloves on. These dudes hated each other. Morales went around telling everybody, I'm going to prove this guy does not belong in the ring with me. I'm way better than him. But I was going around, I'm not going to lose. I cannot live with myself if I lose to Morales. I can accept defeat to anyone else, but just not Morales. It was personal. They went in. My opinion, Morales won that fight. The judges gave it to Barrera. Okay? Many people give it to Barrera. Fine. But it was a hell of a fight. Hell of a fight. This fight was something, man. This fight was at 132. Right? This third fight, they had moved up, man. Okay, this was for the super featherweight title, WBC. They moved up. Right? 130 pounds. This guy has moved up, proved, okay, I am good. All right? After this, fought a guy called Fana, then Robbie Peden, okay win, and then he had the Rocky Juarez fights. Houston, Texas, stand up. All right? Rocky Juarez was 25-2 at the time. 25-1, I'm sorry. Solid fighter. That was the height of his career, man. He was a dangerous opponent. And Barrera beat him. It was controversial. He said, okay, let's rematch. He rematched him, and he outclassed him in the second fight. Still competitive, but yeah, he outclassed. Proving, okay, I still have it. Okay. Then he ran into Juan Manuel Marquez. Good fight. It was a really good fight. I can't even tell you who was favored at the time. But it was a really good fight. Marquez won that fight. It was close, though. And it was a very underrated fight. That's a very exciting fight. Very underrated fight. Big win for Marquez as well. Then he rematched Pacquiao right after that. Put up a much better fight. But he definitely got outclassed. Okay, Pacquiao beat him in that fight. All right? I gave Barrera maybe 2, 3 rounds, but he definitely did better. He performed better than the first time he fought Pacquiao. And I even think Pacquiao was a little better than he was then. Like they had both improved, but Pacquiao was just at that time of his career was just you know better than Barrera. It's just the way it is. He proved it in the ring. No shame. That's a loss. It got better over time, as Calix said. It did. After that, man, his career is pretty much a wash. Okay. The Amir Khan fight, I mean, do we really count that? Which did end in controversy. I think it was a headbutt or something like that. He ended his career with 2 wins against 2 relative nobodies. Just got some W's before on his way out. Every legend deserves that. Every legend can get a couple. If you want to end on a W, you know what I mean? Go out on top. It's okay. They face a like Marcus did with Alvarado. It's all right. You know what I mean? You want to go out on top. That's the way you want to go out. It's all good, man. Let me go over some of these comments really quick. AJ10. Next week is Chino week. Starting tomorrow. AJ10. Barrera had 2 careers. What's up, everybody? Yo, DStyle from Haplotype and Boxing Dialogue. AJ10. What's up, Haplotype? Cyber say, what's up, DStyle? Main Boxing Biker. What up, Haplotype? Main Boxing Biker. What's good? Boxing Dialogue. Juarez was a silver medalist, I think. That's another point I left out. He was. Christian NWO Pacquiao may or may not be using overpowered PEDs. He may have. Who knows, right? Boxing Dialogue. I would like to have seen how Barrera would have done against Khan without that cut. Well, knowing what we know now, man, if we would have clipped Khan a good amount of times in that chin, bro, you might have won. Kareem, this I need to do a Cory Booker video. Did you watch? No, I'm not. Anyway, I did, guys, but I don't talk politics on this channel. It's just a new rule, right? Plus, this is a video about Barrera's career, bro. People are going to come back on archive and listen to it. And, I'm just saying. What I will say, right? What I will say is, although I didn't like Barrera, I just didn't like the guy. I'm just, I've never made it a secret, or it's not like everybody knows that, right? And I've talked a lot of shit, and it's all good. I never liked the guy, but right, and I've gone over the reasons I didn't like him, and I don't feel like rehashing those things again. Okay, but what you can't do is take away from what he accomplished in the ring. You can't do that. You can't take that away. Nothing can take that away. You have to respect that. That commands respect. There's no other way around it. Like anyone, what's good, Scrapbook Boxing? Anyone who just because they don't like Barrera personally turns around and trashes his career, it's just delusion. They're just acting out of emotion. And they're lying to themselves. I'm not going to do that. He had an unbelievable career. The 90s alone was unbelievable. And many people don't even know about his 90s run. Many people first heard of Barrera when they saw that Morales fight, right? Many didn't even watch the fight live. That was one of those, hey, did you see that fight type of fights. That's when VHS was still around, bro. Let me tell you something. There was 3 fights I did not see live. 3. Right? That the Gotti Ward, all right, is a fight I didn't see live. My cousin showed up with a VHS tape, right, and showed it to me. Hell of a fight. Hell of a fight. Right? That's one. Another one was Trinidad versus De La Hoya. I did not get to see that live. I saw that again on VHS. Okay? Which, that one wasn't all that, but I felt Oscar was robbed, but can't really complain for what he did in the last few rounds, whatever. And then there was the Barrera Morales fight. I saw that again, VHS, on a Sunday at my grandfather's house. My cousin showed up with a tape, right? And some had already seen it, some just watched it again. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. These dudes were going to war. They were going to war. Now, funny enough, I had seen, you know, other fights of theirs. This one, I don't remember, you know, why I missed it. And back then there was no social media, so there was no spoilers. When you had that tape, I could have sworn, oh, Morales going to beat his ass. He's going to show me when Morales beat his ass, right? I stayed away from the newspaper, and that was something else, man. But anyway, a lot of people did not even know who Barrera was. They didn't even know. They didn't know who Morales was. Aside from, maybe they seen Barrera on Boxing After Dark or something. Maybe they had seen him before. Maybe. But you don't hear anyone talking about his 90s run. Maybe, That Barrera Morales fight was replayed on TV Azteca, I don't know how many times that week. They kept playing that fight over and over because they got him good ratings. They're like, noticias! Fuck that, we're going to put this fight on again. They just kept putting the fight on over and over and over. I'm not even joking when I say that. Every night they put that fucking fight on for a week. Right? Like, it's, and for those who don't know what that's a channel from Juarez. Right? They kept playing it. It's like they own the rights to that fight, and they're like, we're going to milk the shit out of this. They kept playing it over and over and over. They would find an excuse to play it. Oh, we're going to reanalyze to see who won. They just kept playing that fight over and over and over. That whole week. Play round one and then do some. That's the first time I've seen anybody do slow motion for a whole round. It's insane. They were breaking down. I don't know what there was to break down. I just play the fight. Just play the damn fight. But even then, Prince Nassim Hamed was the one with the big ratings on HBO. Prince Nassim Hamed was the one signing out the garden and shit. Prince Nassim Hamed, as far as the little dudes go, I mean, he gave a lot of exposure. And you have to recognize that. You have to recognize that this guy put little dudes on the map. So when Barrera beat Hamed, man, that was a shockwave that was sent across the world. It was like, wow. Not only that, I think there was some people that if he could beat him, he could win. But nobody thought he was going to win like that. Like, nobody thought he was going to win in dominating fashion. All right? That was the shocking part. And he sent him out to retirement. That's when people were like, oh, Barrera. Hell yeah. Let me tell you something. Barrera? Hell yeah. Right? Hell to the yeah. And I'll never forget, man, I'll never forget the rematch ever. Because all of a sudden, everybody saw the rematch that I knew. Barrera Morales 2 was huge in the Mexican community. I cannot explain to you how big it was. It was like our, Leonard versus Hearns. Like, it really was. And it was big. And I'll never forget it. Big screen TV, my cousin's house. Packed. I don't know how they fit so many people in the living room. Right? Those big box screen TVs. You know which ones, right? That had lines all across and shit. But it was the papazote of the day. It was the big daddy of the day fucking TV. Right? And fucking, I remember just being there and just thinking to myself, this is it. Like Morales is gonna just put this shit to rest, right? This is it. And then they gave us another classic, man. But I'll never forget, like the waves of it's there's something about boxing in particular that I don't think I've seen other combat sports with people, but boxing, it has like this you know like a wave thing. Like one fighter starts throwing punches and hits the guy, and it's like, oh, and then then the other guy goes and like the other side, and you just kind of see both sides kind of. There's this wave, man. Like it's hard to describe. When you see it in this fight in particular, everyone was divided. So here one side of the room cheering when Morales was getting some offense, and the other side of the room cheering when Barrera would get some offense. It was awesome, right? It's just awesome. Watching a fight, an exciting fight in a living room, okay, when the room is divided, is one of the most awesome experiences you'll ever have watching a fight. In fact, I've been to some live boxing fights. It can even top that, right? It really can. The only thing that will top that is maybe a divided fucking arena, which I know I have stories about that too, but with some fighters from El Paso and Juarez here, just a little bit of a rivalry, and I've experienced that in an arena as well. But I'll say that for boxing stories. Unbelievable, man. Right? Let me tell you something. Marco Antonio Barrera is a legend, bro. Right? If hopefully people learn something new about Marco Antonio Barrera. I could come on here and just do what everybody else. Just talk about him beating Nassim Hamed and winning the trilogy against Morales and that. Okay, all right. Well, that does a disservice to everything else he did. Right? It was in the first ever boxing after dark. I mean, against Keenan McKinney, amazing fight. You guys are missing out against Toledo, amazing fight. This dude had some amazing. The second fight with Junior Jones was a very good fight. Losing effort, but still, the Marcus fight, losing effort, but it was a great fight. Very good fight. This dude is willing to go out on his shield. He was willing to go out on his shield in that first Junior Jones fight. He was willing to go out on his shield in that first Pacquiao fight. This dude was getting beat up. There was no quitting in this guy. None. He would leave, recover, come back. What's up? People counted this guy out so many times. They counted him out after he lost to Junior Jones. They counted him out after he got the Pacquiao beating. And he will come back, and while moving up in weight, prove the critics wrong. So no matter how you feel or I feel about Barrera personally, you can't take away from his professional career, his accomplishments. You can't take that away from him. You just can't, right? So that can never be taken away from him. This dude is a legend in that ring. So there you go, guys, okay? I don't think DStyle can be objective and really call it like it is for Marco Antonio Barrera. He's just going to talk about his losses all week. Like, no, bro. Scrapbook Boxing in the house. Been checking out his videos, man. Great stuff. Great stuff. You guys make sure you subscribe to Scrapbook Boxing. All right, Haplotype, saying what up to him. Boxing Dialogue, how would you rank Barrera, Morales, and Marquez? Man, at 122, Morales is by far the better of the three. Just saying. All right, at 126, I still think I still think Morales is the best of the three. Right. At 130, I would put Barrera on top, and then of course I think Morales was. I mean, of the three, was obviously the better 135. Both, Morales and Barrera never did anything at 135. Really, Barrera had a losing effort, I believe, against Khan. And Morales lost to David Diaz, and it was a hell of a fight. Morales was gone for a while, came back, tried to remember that shit, trying to win the fourth title. But this is how I feel overall, like their careers in general. A lot of people will say Marquez because he got that Pacquiao win, but aside from like take away the Pacquiao fights, and yeah, he had a little bit of a run at 135, but and you could even it wasn't his fault. Guys were ducking him, but you could argue that Prince Nassim Hamed win should have been his. But Prince Nassim Hamed did some cherry picking gone wrong and got his ass beat by Barrera. Stylistically, he might have put up a better fight against Marcus. Who knows? But I guess you got to go with Marcus 1. And then, even though, man, I question some of Marcus' losses, bro. We lost to Chris John. You know what I mean? We got to kind of. I don't think Morales would have lost to Chris John, but fine. I gotta say, man. I'll probably put Barrera over Marquez as an overall career, right? I would. Morales, I think, was the better fighter of the three, but people overlook what Morales did. That's why we need a terrible week. People need educated, right? So I know I'm not really answering the question. I think we have to divide everything in weight classes, At 120, as a featherweight or super bantamweight, Morales was clearly better than Barrera, in my opinion. All right. Morales' win over Junior Jones, very underrated win. So, we can go round and round with these guys, really. We can go round and round. But what are you going to do? Morales has a win over Pacquiao, too, by the way. So, and it went southpaw for half a round in the last round to prove a point. I mean, how awesome is that? All right. Yeah, it was whack. I agree, Haplotype. I'm going to train like an ass for Barrera. Barrera train like Rocky 4. Well, that's part of the fight, man. It's part of the fight game. You got to want it. You have to want it. With that said, guys, I'm going to wrap this video up. All right. I want to thank everybody that tuned in. All right. Make sure you throw a jab at the like button. You could go to the playlist, watch the other Appreciation Week videos. We need a clever name. Kind of like Marquez of Queensberry Week and Sugar. Sugar Shane, we just did Sugar Shane Appreciation Week. I think it had a good ring to it. And MAB Week, and we need something for Marco's Maidana. Okay. We need something for Marco's, I don't know, Chino Week, I guess. I don't know. Scrapbook giving a shout out. Shout out to him. Shout out to Haplotype. All right. Shout out to him. Christian NWO. Barrera is a dirty fighter. Hitting Morales behind the head. Hitting Marquez when he was down. The second thought, I really like Pacquiao whipping his ass. I mean, look, I would love to tell you how I felt when I was watching Junior Jones beat it. Like, I would love to tell you. Because, it doesn't matter. I would love to tell you how I felt when Pacquiao was beaten, but this Appreciation Week, you got to appreciate, all right? Well, we'll talk about that, when we get to some other Appreciation Weeks, okay? We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'll never forget, man, that first Barrera Morales fight. I think I had to go to a way. I forgot what the hell it was, bro. I couldn't watch the fight. Right. And but thankful back then there was no social media, YouTube back then. So back then you could literally just not talk to anyone and then watch the fight on replay, and it's like you're watching it live. When it's my cousin with a VHS tape, it's like you're watching it live. You know what I mean? So it pretty much is like it's hard to, unless you live those days, that, because then you'll understand. You'll understand exactly what I mean. Like there could be fights you watched back in the day, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, that, or just the 90s in general. There could be fights that you actually watched on replay or on VHS, but your memory remembers them like you watched it live because you had no idea what happened as you were watching it. All you had to do was not talk to anyone, okay? Avoid the newspaper, and you were good. Avoid the news, right? The news was at a certain time, and that's it. Like, there was no phone that could blow you up. Nobody could blow you up with text messages and tell you, "Oh my God, you see that fight? I can't believe what I just saw." Like, nobody could text you that, right? A fight that I did not see live. Like, I have to stop and think about these things sometimes. Like, my memory bank tells me I saw Buster Douglas knock out Tyson live, and I didn't. I did not watch it live. I couldn't have watched it live because I watched it at nighttime. That shit was a replay. But I had no idea, even though that was the biggest upset ever. And when I watched it with my cousins, I had no idea Tyson had lost. I don't know if they knew, but I didn't know. So even though this was a recorded VHS that one of my cousins had, I just, the way my memory remembers, is like I watched it live. It didn't feel like I was watching a recording or a replay. Right? So to me, I saw Barrera Morales, it feels like I watched it live anyway. It's how it feels. Right? Anyway, with that said, guys, thank you again. We'll start Marcos Maidana Appreciation Week next week. Well-deserved win. I mean, he edged out Timothy Bradley. The Klitschko's have been eliminated. And that's that, man. And that's that. Peace out.